Alright, real quick. So the theory of mind is basically a theory that states that we're born with more or less a blank slate. And as we start to interact with the environment and the world around us, we start to form these positive, negative, or neutral associations with everything we interact with. When we're at that young age, say around 0 to 8 years old, we're very suggestible because our brain waves are moving in a very slow theta or alpha state. So we form these associations with our environment and we kind of accept them as the ultimate truth. And they become kind of the baseline for our life script and our beliefs. So for example, say you're swimming with a friend at a pool at a young age, say 5 years old, and your friend accidentally pulls you underwater, you panic, you swallow water, and you think that you're going to drown, you're in big trouble. So in this example, you're going to begin to associate pools, swimming, and that type of situation in a negative way because of that fear and that bad experience. So if you don't have any other positive associations with the pool or with swimming to kind of counteract that negative, then there's a good chance you're going to start to develop some kind of fear around that scenario. And we form these associations with our environment, and then we start to develop these kind of patterns of thinking, these patterns of behaviors and beliefs. And around the age of 9, say, our thinking kind of starts to change because we begin to think more for ourselves. We begin to use our conscious mind, and we also form this critical mind, which is kind of like an analysis to filter out whatever information doesn't really align with those earlier subconscious beliefs that we created. So our conscious mind is like more responsible for logic, willpower, and decision making, reasoning, and our critical mind kind of separates the conscious and the subconscious like a gatekeeper or a filter. So for example, if you have, say, a negative association around swimming or around the pool, like in the earlier example, and someone comes along and says, oh, we're going swimming, we're going to the pool, it's going to be so fun, let's go. It might sound like a good idea to your conscious mind, but that critical mind is going to filter that information based on those subconscious beliefs that you've already formed. And more than likely, it's going to consider that and it's going to filter it out or boot it out because it doesn't quite align with that earlier information. This is a dynamic that makes it really hard to kind of change your behavior. And that's why a lot of times you'll know what you should do consciously, but it's so hard to change because those subconscious beliefs are already set and they're accounting for, say, 90% of your mind power. And the conscious mind with that logic and that reasoning is really only accounting for, say, 10%. So although you know it looks fun, everybody's having a good time, you can't quite bring yourself to jump in the deep end of the pool because your subconscious mind is trying to protect you based on that old association that you formed in that tragic experience. So kind of the basis of the work we do here is we work with various techniques like meditation, breathing practices, and we relax that critical mind, that judging mind, and we also relax the body so that we can begin to gain access to that subconscious and those associations we formed. And once we can do that, we can kind of begin to alter or change those old associations based on whatever our goals are. So for example, if you have, say, a fear around pools or swimming, what we would do is, if you wanted to get rid of that fear, we could go in, we could use meditation, breathing techniques, we could relax that critical judging mind, relax the body, and then begin to gain access to that subconscious. And at that point, we can kind of use the power of suggestion to suggest feelings around safety, around calm, relaxation, and associate them with the pool or with swimming. And basically what we do is we create new associations around that scenario. And with repetition, we begin to kind of drown out those old negative associations and begin to replace them with this positive feeling of safety, of having fun. So we can kind of begin to enjoy swimming, enjoy the pool, and over time we continue to create these positive associations, and through the law of repetition, eventually your subconscious begins to kind of move in the direction that your conscious mind desires. And that way you get the 90% of the subconscious, you get the 10% of the conscious moving in the same direction. And so you have 100% of your mind power focused on what you want to achieve. And you can apply this to really any scenario. So whether you want to quit smoking, whether you want to lose weight, sleep better, exercise more, whatever it is, you can use this technique to kind of relax your conscious mind, relax that critical mind, and begin to form these new associations in the subconscious that are in line with whatever you want to create for your life.